In order to work on a CMS project, you will need to ensure that your project and client is a good fit for a CMS. And you will need to do some planning so that you have all of the information that you'll need for this sort of project. Planning for a CMS involves several crucial steps to ensure that the final implementation meets your organization's needs effectively. Not all businesses will require a content management system to manage their websites. Whether you need a CMS or not depends on several factors. To determine if you need a CMS, ask yourself the following questions. How frequently will you be updating the website? Will you regularly post serialized content like blogs and press releases? Will you need real-time updates? Will you need version control for your content? Will you have a big editorial team with multiple user groups? Will you need an approval workflow? What other functionality do you need from your platform? What technical skills do you have in-house? Do you need reusable content and layout templates? Can you cover the upfront costs and ongoing maintenance? For instance, if you have a small brochure-type website with a small amount of content that you rarely need to change, it may be difficult to justify the additional cost, time, and effort of setting up a CMS. You should weigh out the costs and risks of implementing a new system against the possible improvements. If you have a static HTML website that you need to update frequently, or if you plan to build an entirely new site, you should consider CMS as an option for your project. Planning for a CMS involves several crucial steps to ensure that the final implementation meets your organization's needs effectively. Here's a detailed guide on how to approach this process. Remember, this is simply a guideline. Obviously, an individual project may have different nuances, and you may need to establish alternate steps. The first step, of course, is going to be to figure out if indeed you do need a content management system. In order to do some basic planning, you'll need to establish goals. You're going to want to clearly articulate why you need a CMS. Are you looking to improve content management, enhance collaboration, scale your website, or all of the above? You want to identify specific, measurable goals, such as increasing website traffic, improving user engagement, and streamlining content updates or enhancing SEO performance. You'll always want to understand who your primary audience is and what their needs and expectations are. This will guide the features and design of your CMS. Ask yourself the following questions. What are the primary and secondary purposes of the website? Who is the target audience? What are the expected outcomes? i.e. more visitors, higher engagement, or increased sales. Next, you're going to want to identify site requirements. You'll start off by listing all the different types of content that you will manage. Things such as blog posts, product pages, galleries, videos, etc. You'll want to identify the necessary features such as user registration, e-commerce capabilities, search functionality, social media integration, and SEO tools. You'll want to define who will be using the CMS and their respective roles. Will you need administrators, editors, authors? You'll want to determine what existing systems or services the CMS needs to integrate with. Next, you want to make sure that the CMS can handle future growth in terms of content, volume, traffic, and additional features. Questions to consider are: what types of content will be managed? What specific functionalities are required? What user roles need to be defined? And what integrations are necessary? I find it always helpful to make a project checklist. You'll want to conduct research on various CMS options and identify those that best match your requirements. Establish a budget for the CMS project, including software costs, hosting, development, and ongoing maintenance. Create a realistic timeline for the project, including key milestones and deadlines. Identify all stakeholders and ensure their requirements and feedback are incorporated into the planning process. A sample checklist may include defining project goals and objectives, Conduct audience analysis. Identify content types and structure. List required functionalities. Define user roles and permissions. Determine integration needs. Research and shortlist potential CMS platforms. Establish a project budget. Develop a project timeline with milestones. And gather stakeholder requirements and feedback. Creating a content inventory can really help to get your project up and running. You'll want to review all current content to understand what you have and what needs to be migrated, updated, or archived. Organize your content into categories, types, and tags to streamline the migration process and ensure consistency. Identify any gaps in your content that need to be addressed before migration. These would be things like missing pages or outdated information. Ensure that your content is properly tagged with metadata and optimized for search engines. Develop a detailed plan for migrating existing content to the new CMS, including data mapping, format changes, and potential issues. Steps for content inventory include creating a comprehensive list of all current content items. Organize that content by type, category, and relevancy. Assess the quality and relevancy of each content item. Identify content that needs to be updated, rewritten, or removed. Ensure all content has appropriate metadata, things like titles, descriptions, and keywords. And finally, develop a strategy for migrating content to the new CMS, including timelines and responsibilities. Like any web project, planning for a CMS is a structured process that involves setting clear goals, identifying site requirements, creating a detailed project checklist, and conducting a thorough content inventory. By following these steps, you can ensure a smooth transition to a new CMS that meets your organization's needs and sets the foundation for effective content management and growth.